Welcome back to Digi Bro.
What's up, y'all?
So we've mentioned on this show before that we're moving the Devu up here.
Yeah.
But we finally got all these plans solidified in place. Everything's happening, and it's gonna be
The happening.
the Devu and Patreon.com/Ben Saint are both gonna be moving in with us.
What the fuck?
Along with
Did I just stop to look at a book? What the fuck?
along with Shade's girlfriend Amber.
Oh yeah.
They're all gonna be moving in.
Ah!
And my parents are gonna be getting their own place, and we're gonna turn this.
And shit's gonna be cray.
We're gonna turn this place into a studio type environment and do all kinds of projects. If anyone was wondering why that Digibros discuss on Berserk with the super good lighting and audio, that
Decent.
was
The lighting's kind of shitty.
lighting's great.
It would be good if there weren't fucking like blown out hotspots on our faces.
Whatever.
That was a camera problem, though.
For the fucking YouTube video, it was unbelievably good. Every comment was about how unbelievably good it was.
I won't be satisfied until it actually looks professional.
Nate saw it and was like, "Oh my god, professional lighting's actually in our reach." Because Nate wants that shit, you know.
Yes. But by the next one, it'll look fucking spot on.
Well, we're planning to do. I think we're gonna do more tests
Yes.
to see how it goes. And we're also, me and Victor are planning to do more non-Digibros YouTube videos together.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because, like, Digibros is not successful as a business venture.
Yes.
It's fun to do. It's a fun way to talk about our everyday lives and situations, get stuff off our chest, catch up with one another, tell stories, and
making any money.
have some decent audience interaction. Well, it's not growing.
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
it grows very slowly.
I'm alive.
And I think that's because
I'm alive.
it's billed as a Let's Play channel, even though the appeal of it's not really gaming at all. It's just hearing us talk. What the fuck is happening?
Did I break the game?
What in the fuck is happening? This is highly disturbing.
What the fuck?
I think you might need to reload from a checkpoint or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Hard mode.
This is a very hard mode.
Yeah, bitch.
Oh my god.
We're playing Tomb Raider, motherfucker.
Holy shit. I'm fucking freaking out. Oh my god. Bad acid, bad acid, bad acid, bad acid, bad acid, bad acid tree.
Remember what the dumb man said. Feed your head.
Oh my god. Oh my god. My fucking mind can't handle it.
Oh, fuck yeah. I feel like
Whoa.
this is fucking tripping me the fuck out, dude.
Was I not just in the middle of the sentence? Appeal of this show is not really about the game. Was I not saying that?
I'm like starting to like freak out. Like, this is fucking trippy.
I was in the middle of that sentence, Victor.
Ah! What?
Oh,
yeah,
there
we did
go.
it!
Holy shit.
We got through. We prevailed. Oh! Fuck
That-
you, bitch. Ah! The fucking Molotov cocktail
That
killed
was a
me.
fucking nightmare.
That was an experience.
Anyways, the appeal of this show usually is not really the game
Yes.
so much as our conversations. And it's hard to like bill this show because it's essentially a Let's Play show, but it's more of a podcast.
I can't melee.
But like I've advertised it plenty on my channel and it's never expanded. You know, like there's just not been a huge outpouring of new viewers at any point. It's not, like it makes money, but not enough to make it like worth the effort of like really it's not even the editing, just like the actual taking 3 hours out of our day to play a video game.
Yes.
Like I just don't have time for this often, you know, like with all the other projects I've got going on. You know, I edit every episode of the Procrastinators podcast, and I'm on most of those.
Yeah.
I do the pub crawl. I do like a million vlogs, a million podcasts.
You do a bunch of shit. It is true.
So whatever's making the least amount of money is like Pub Crawl is making me no money, but that show doesn't take any effort on my part. I just show up for 45 minutes and drink and talk for half, that's it, once a week. But this show's a little bit more effort than it's worth, but mostly because I think me and Victor could be doing better stuff together. Because through this show, you've gotten good at talking.
Yeah, except for, lately on this show.
Right.
Getting progressively worse.
You're good at with a topic. If I give in the biggest problem I had with with the Pokemon Let's Play, after the last session, I was like, one or the other always suffers. Either the game suffers or the dialogue suffers.
Yeah.
Because every time you would start talking, you started playing complete shit. And there was times where something entertaining would be happening in the game, and we just completely brushed past it because it's just basically a podcast. So it was like, what's the fucking point of having the game be there and for us to play it badly when all it does is distract us from being able to talk well?
Yeah.
When we could have a show that's just about us talking well. But Victor was very resistant to the idea of doing a podcast without a game being there.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But I finally just fucking twisted his arm to do the Ghostbusters one. And I thought it came out great. We were really entertaining. We talked constantly.
I guess it ended up bothering me because it was really the point of it was to be controversial, and then it was, and then everyone just shat all over it.
Only a few people did. It has more of a like bar than a dislike bar.
Oh, I see. I don't know. Those early comments were just not reading.
In other words, Victor finally was gotten to by YouTube comments. They've never really gotten to you before, but now suddenly they did.
It was just that moment where I was just like,
Right. Well, I mean, we did make a deliberately controversial video.
Yes.
But
and I didn't feel like I explained everything I wanted to in a good way, and that bothered me too. And then there's comments responding, and I'm like, yeah, they're able to make this counter argument because I didn't make a solid enough argument in the first place, and then it kind of bothered me.
But the point is that
I feel like I didn't do anything constructive and change anyone's mind,
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
It was a super entertaining podcast. That's all I wanted it to be. I didn't care about anything. I don't give a fuck about Ghostbusters, obviously.
Yeah, but I had opinions that I wanted out there.
But the point of it to me was not, let's make a Ghostbusters podcast. It was, let's see if we can make a podcast, And you wanted to talk about all that stuff on Digi Bros anyways. Can you imagine you would have made the point well on Digi Bros?
Yeah, but on Digi Bros I would have rated and not really cared.
Well, I don't think you should care anyway.
Yeah.
Because a couple of faggots decided that they don't like your opinion, Which, then now I'm going to have a couple of faggots who don't like that I called them a couple of faggots. But, This
fucking dude with this machete, man.
I know, this guy is hauling ass.
This dude who hauls ass at me. Jesus.
Yeah, anyways, I thought it was super entertaining. We were, talkative the whole time. It sounded like we had an amount of speed and chemistry.
That guy just lit himself on fire. Yeah.
We had an amount of speed and chemistry in that podcast that you would only hear from people who speed up their podcasts.
Yes.
It sounded like it was... I didn't edit that at all. There was no cutting of any silences. There was no editing whatsoever. It was just pure, non-stop dialogue. And it was really entertaining, and it was funny. And we, made points snappy and quick and got through a lot of stuff in only, an hour, We kept coming up with new things to talk about,
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was stretched out. It didn't feel like we were making 1 point 10 times, like often happens on Maddox's show.
What's funny to me about Digi Bros and the way we podcast and, what we've trained ourselves to do is that, I always get paranoid about any kind of silence.
Yeah,
and we've gotten to that point where we don't have silence.
No.
We just go. And then it's funny because I've been watching Mumkey and Mumkey and Manimal, and there's just way slower, way more silence, and it never bothers me when I watch it that way,
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does it bother me so much when we do it? And we've become so just non-stop rattling on.
Right.
So with the Berserk video, we're just boom, 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 boom.
Well, the thing
Same
about
with Ghostbusters.
The thing about it with the Let's Play is you can't edit it.
Yeah.
So if there's any awkward silence, I can't do anything about it.
Yes.
And I do get bothered on Monkey and Manimal's show when they're quiet too much.
And he also edits stuff,
Right. But even then, I'm like, okay, you guys have been silent for too long, or you're not making points fast enough, and I'm getting sick of it, when Mumkey will keep making one joke over and over again that Manimal's clearly doesn't think is funny and isn't responding to.
Do you remember that episode of Pokemon
Well, that's hilarious.
That is the best joke of all time.
Where James got a Growlithe and
Growlithe.
Anyways.
Yes.
See, that was a silence. Very brief though.
Oh
so
god, that was poisonous.
Noticeable.
That was toxic. That was a beat.
But yeah, like we talk really fast, and like it's even crazier when we're not playing a game because there's no moment of concentration. It's just constant dialogue. And so I thought the Ghostbusters one was super entertaining. I thought the Berserk one came out really well.
That's another thing with doing a podcast. That it's just like you have to constantly focus on the topic, and there's nothing to breathe. I can't just like react to something like, oh, look at what happened in the game, and then we have a second to think and breathe, and then you get back to it.
Yeah, but they've been really good. Yeah. That hasn't been a problem. It's been entertaining.
I was very happy with the Berserk one when I watched that back. That was cool.
That one had a little bit of editing.
Yeah. And we had both watched the things and could talk about it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, the Ghostbusters thing was like, it was mostly a test, and it was just, you wanted to talk about this thing, and I was like, I think we'll get more out of it if we do it as a podcast than if we talked about it on Digi Bros. Because either way, because the thing is, if we talked about it on Digi Bros and I haven't seen the movie, I have no way to fill in. I have no way to take over, and you're going to talk nonstop about this movie for 45 minutes and not be able to play the game. You know, the game's going to be completely mindless. You're going to get hung up trying to think about a puzzle or something and not be able to finish your sentence. And I don't know how to fill in for that, you know? Whereas when it was a podcast, we could just be snappy and constant and make all these fun points. And I think we got way more out of the topic of Ghostbusters than we would have gotten out of it talking about it on Digibros.
For sure.
You know, I think Digibros is great for when it's like personal life stuff that would have no reason. Like talking about what you're doing on a film will not make a great podcast.
Yes,
you know,
no one cares.
It's fun for just background noise that people can put on and listen to and play. You know, if they want to look at the video game, they can. You know, but like something like the Berserk topic is great for a podcast.
Yes.
You know, and 40,000 views.
Nice.
The Ghostbusters one has like 17,000, almost 20,000 views.
Wow.
You know, and it is mostly likes. It was controversial, but it's mostly likes. You know.
Is this where it came from?
And once I closed the comments weren't annoying anymore.
This
So there's that as well.
You are right. Close the comments.
Yeah.
Fuck discussion.
I don't care about discussion.
Me
I don't
either.
want
Fuck it,
discussion,
dude. Especially if it's like people aren't talking to each other, so who fucking cares? Like they're just bitching at us.
Dude, I have extensively written about why comments should be closed.
If you want to talk about it, go make a subreddit.
Right. Exactly.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's all. All they have to do is go to our Ghostbusters, post our video, and discuss it. Boom. You've got a platform. I don't have to give you one.
You're not smothering freedom of speech.
No.
That's fucking bullshit.
Go find a place to fucking talk about the video if you want to talk about it.
Yes.
So, you know, those both came out really well. And I think me and you have way too much talent to only be using it on a fucking Let's Play show that no one's watching.
Yes.
You know? Like, you know, our audience is cool and all, but, like, they're gonna follow us if we do the fucking other show.
You are right.
Know? It's not like we're gonna lose the Digibros crowd because we decided to do something that more people will watch. Personally, I don't even read comments on Digibros anymore anyways, so I don't care.
Don't?
Not,
Man,
no.
I don't think I read them all on Pokemon because I was busy and not keeping up like day to day.
I don't like.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go.
It's partly that I get too many comments on all my channels now, but I also just don't care as much about comments anymore.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, that's kind of how I like.
Oh shit! This is the dankest part. Woof.
Oh, boom! Suck the big dick.
Suck the big dick, indeed.
Yeah, I used to always say that like comments were sort of how I felt like validated that people were watching my stuff.
Yeah,
but
now you're way beyond that. Now you're making $1,000 a video. You're fucking validated enough.
Yeah, I don't really need that kind of validation. And
look, I got a ghetto-looking gun.
I mean, it's still cool to know like the time when comments matter the most is like on the aesthetic is narrative video, because like on that one. I wasn't sure how people would respond to that because it was such a heady concept. Did you watch that video?
Yeah, I did. It was good.
So you enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
You didn't find it to be weird as fuck and esoteric and annoying.
I think there was a part where I felt like you could have explained things a little bit better, but it was a good concept.
Yeah. See, I wasn't sure if it was going to be so esoteric that people would just find it pretentious or not care about the subject. But then
I think it's an important point to make that, like, you know, when you're talking about something that is literal drawn art, that like something like that might matter.
Right. And but like once the response to it was overwhelmingly positive. You know, like everyone loved that video. Lots of people thought it was my best video ever and stuff like that. And so, you know, like it was something that I wrote in such a way that I guess I should say I wasn't completely satisfied with how it was written because it was so out there, you know, and I felt like I could have possibly written that in a more straightforward way, but I didn't want to. I wanted it to have an aesthetic writing style.
And I definitely enjoyed
like that.
The part you got to about Cabaneri, about how he was like a 90s like guy for thing, because that's exactly what I felt watching it. And like I loved when he turned into that thing, because I was like, this is like Generator Gall or something. Like he turned into like an awesome dude, and that's why I enjoyed that scene. So it's like, yeah, if you didn't get that out of it, you probably didn't enjoy it as much, you know?
Right.
But if it didn't give you a nostalgic feeling from seeing him like do all that stuff.
I do definitely think that it's one of the more important videos I've done. It's honestly, after getting the response to it and then like rewatching it myself, even I appreciated it more. Where I was like,
definitely looked like the dude from the Soul Taker. Like, cause the kid from the Soul Taker like gradually gets the red cape and shit and becomes this badass and like
Kyosuke
had that feel for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good video, and I'm glad I made it, and like I'm glad that I got to see the critical response to it be so positive. And there were some people who wrote some stuff that was like, you know, pretty cool, that I inspired those thoughts in people.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't like still having comments, but like it's more of a general thing. Like the individual comments aren't as big a deal as just knowing what the response is and like how people feel about the video in a general sense, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who, you know, have been my biggest commenters will either go to my Reddit to comment or go to my Twitter, you know, find places where they know I'll respond, or they just started making their own videos and talking to each other, you know? Because, like, I don't have time for everybody. Everyone knows, I've said this many times, that I don't really feel the need for more friends.
Yes.
You know, audience interaction is fun, but, like, I would like it even more if my audience members were talking to each other, and I think there's a lot of that. You know, I think a lot of my audience members kind of recognize each other. I think a lot of people probably know who Lachlan Still is. He started his own YouTube channel as The Pedantic Romantic, and he's doing anime analysis now, you know. And, like, I think people will figure out that you can, like, follow me without me having to be a part of the picture in a way, you know. Where, like, I would like it for things to kind of not rely on me being there responding to people, for them to have fun leaving comments. But yeah, I would like us to move in another direction and start making videos that are more accessible to more people.
Yeah.
Not to say that Digibros has to die. We might not do it as often, because another part of the problem is that we have never had shit to talk about lately.
Yeah.
Like, the reason Digibros went on hiatus was partly because Victor was working on a film for a month, and partly because we really, like, every show would be like, so what have you been up to this week? I watched some shows. It's more of the
same shit, you know?
Right. We've talked about all the shit
so long that, like, whatever story I had, it's hard to tell. Like, I had stories from, like, doing the T-Cook thing, but then it's just kind of like, I don't really feel the same energy from the story anymore, so it's hard to, like, remember what's going on. And I didn't think about talking about that beforehand.
Right.
So I don't really know what to say.
But we've barely had things to talk about unless we wait for, like, a long time. Yeah, because there was a time where we used to have topics that we would prepare, but, like, I ran out. I have nothing left to say.
We've just said everything there is to say on
Digibros. Like, how many times? Because the things, like, you know, I'm not always getting, like, emotional or thinking about new things. Yes. I think about a lot of the same shit all the time. I've actually had, like, 2 different vlogs that I recorded about, like, basically what I was just describing about, like, me kind of getting too famous and having to, like, you know, cut back my my internet consumption. And then, like, after recording it, I watched it back and I went, I've made this before. I've made this exact vlog. People already know this about me. Why do I keep having the same realization over again? You know, and then just deleted it.
Yes.
Like, deleted the vlog. So, like, I think we run a risk of that here. And that's why with podcasts, what's great about it is we get to actually apply our stuff to just individual topics, like Ghostbusters, you know, like everything we said about Ghostbusters is not something we've talked about 100,000 fucking times before, you know?
Yes.
We used some stuff that we've talked about, like
Fuck.
the nature of remakes and reboots and stuff, but
Yeah.
it was applied to a topic. Or with Berserk, you know, some of the same things got applied to it, but
Yeah.
it was about Berserk and, like, specifically what's good or bad about this show. And, you know, I've often said that, like, what's going to make my channel survivable in the long run is that, because I do lots of broad concept stuff, but eventually I run out of broad concept stuff. You know, eventually it's going to be just taking that stuff and applying it to individual shows and being like, here's why this show is good, you know? And it's always weird when I do something like the Sakamoto video, where, like, because it came immediately after Aesthetic is Narrative, I don't think anyone gave a fuck about that video. Like,
Yeah.
Did you watch it? What did you think of it?
I like it because I like Sakamoto.
Right. Like,
I mean, it was more of like a kind of review video,
right.
I guess.
But with the Aesthetic is Narrative video, every comment is like, oh man, this thing you said is so deep and I can apply it to every other show now. And with Sakamoto, all I got was like, I thought the show was okay. Like, that was every comment.
I looked at the comments.
Yeah, it was alright, or I didn't like it. And I'm like, this video's not about whether or not you like it.
Yeah.
It's about the interesting idea of Sakamoto as a perfect comedy character.
Yeah.
That he's someone you can fit into any situation, and that's the mechanic by which the comedy works, and that's what makes the show interesting, you know? Or the fact that it does the serious comedy thing and has, like, these emotional, dramatic moments while being absurd and hilarious, you know?
Yes. I love Sakamoto.
It was
What a
fucking
classic.
fantastic. Me and you seem to like it more than anybody else.
Yeah,
Didn't get
fuck
that.
'em.
Like, cause I looked at. It was
So
one
the
of
comments
those,
were there was the dude who's just like, I just didn't think it was funny at all. I'm just like, you are obviously a lame person.
I had a lot of comments that were like, I thought it was a struggle to watch after episode 1, and like I
think if you don't get it, then you're not gonna.
A lot of
get it,
people
you know?
said it was the same joke over and over again, and I'm
It's
like,
no,
the
you
nature of
they
the
just don't
joke is
get
the
it.
same,
Some people don't get it.
but it's not the same joke.
Sometimes I feel like there are people. Shit, did I talk about this with you? But this might have been a topic I had. There are people who seem to have one sense of humor. It is like...
Let's split this episode into another one and talk
Okay.
about that. Next time on Digi Bros, we'll talk about that.